he didn't hit. He could get angry, but he didn't hit. And Mother, of course, never hit. So I knew nonviolence from personal experience, and was also in houses where friends were hit and saw how much that was a horrible thing. So I'm back in the US, and almost right away I'm in a public park at a public drinking fountain that says whites only. And my life really changed then. It was wrong. I realized my country was fake, religion was fake, and people can pass by this sign and not tear it down. So I spoke up. My last 2 years in a public school of high school was an all-white school, and the N-word was constantly said. And it really hurt. I didn't want to live. If somebody said the N-word in class, I would scream really loud and really long until I saw everybody hate me and say, you can say that word, but I have to do this, to live with myself. It was probably the least humorous time in my life, from the time Dad died until I got it, which was another 1.5 years. But it certainly showed me that as soon as you let go of what's important, the world can act on you. And that's kind of what happened to me. It was also the civil rights movement years, hugely right there. I lived in the Washington suburbs. And reading is when I flipped out. I started reading deep shit, and I've been reading deep shit ever since. Heavy writers. Everything was pointing to be nice, be creative, help, offer your help. And these are all qualities of a fool. And I realized that one could use the fool as an instrument for peace and justice and care, and would be the best use of me. It was certainly the way I could get along with pretty much whoever I was with. And then between the second and third hospitalization, 3 hospitalizations in mental hospitals in 1 year, 62, 63, I was present at Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And I saw these were my people, nonviolent revolutionaries. And because Mom gave me self-esteem, I decided to do that. And then the big question in being a nonviolent activist is, how do you do that? And from everything I've learned as a clown, be friendly, be nice, be playful, be last. Find play in whatever is happening. Find the play of the people you're with and play that. And so I decided to never have another bad day, and that I would always be on. There wouldn't be a time when I would think, okay, I'm not on as an activist. What can I do in this minute? With an old friend or on a crowded something or other. I am engaging. And it's the fool that gives that to me. Okay, so 35 years ago, I started to only wear clown clothes. Because I think, why did fools wear costumes? Because almost no one hits a fool. And I think from my experience, they assume you're playful. They usually ask, are you a clown? And that's when you're in your most undercover. So being friendly became what I wanted to be all the time. Engaging, and then I had all this free time from then until I went to medical school, and I played around Washington. I went to all these different club meetings, and I spent 2 hours a day for 2 years calling up wrong numbers, seeing how long I could keep people on the phone. And in DC, 10 hours a week going up and down elevators. Because once that door shuts, ding, there they are, your people. And it was always, playful funny was always the safest you can make them. If they feel safe with you and that you might be fun for them, there's a good chance you won't be hit. And that it actually starts conversations. And, there's something that's dragged along with funny, which is it's a beautiful instrument for peace and justice, but it's also naughty, so you can see that you can do horrible things as a clown and not get hurt. Get presidents in your underpants. Go do things in public no one can believe you're doing, but because you're a clown, a fool, a trickster, a contrary, whatever you are, you'll get away with it. You can moon in public. You can, And I would say for everything I've wanted and worked for in my life, that the fool part was more what sustained it than the doctor part. I like the doctor part. The doctor part is pushing the fool part and saying, okay, be this all the time. I think it's most likely when the hospital opens and I'm still alive that I won't be a doctor that prescribes any medicines. And what I'll do is I'll be a vibe that floats around the hospital. Of course, as a fool and the doctor. What if that was a brief summary?